Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing, with your hosts Glenn Thayer and the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young.
Folks, welcome back to another Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. Tom and I are here, and we are talking about the new book, Tom's brand new book, Winning the Website War: 4 Steps for Marketing Success. Now, Tom, tell us what was the impetus to write the book?
Well, I've been doing a lot of work with business leaders over the last 10 or 15 years, helping them understand web marketing and giving presentations. And I realized that business leaders are really fighting a battle to get their website complete. And it can be very frustrating for them. It's one of the most frustrating things in their marketing efforts. And the reason it is so frustrating is because they're fighting this war on 2 fronts. One is they're trying to beat their competitors and do better than their competitors, be found in Google and that sort of thing. And then they're also trying to build a team of experts in a whole different set of areas that would come together and create this winning thing called a website and a winning web marketing strategy. And so as I started to work through the 4-step process, which we've talked about in these podcasts, I thought that, a book called The 4-Step Process sounds a little boring, but Winning the Website War sounds more exciting because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to fight these battles and win this war to be successful on the internet. And so that's what the book is about. It's about winning the website war by following the 4-step process, and it's for business leaders to learn how to beat their competition with a great website strategy and how to build a team of professionals that can pull all this together. So there's kind of multiple things happening, and it's kind of a unique approach to web marketing.
So for those folks that are joining us for the first time, can you quickly go over what those 4 steps are?
Absolutely. So the 4 steps are: number 1, strategy; number 2, design and development; number 3, traffic generation to a website; and then number 4, the process of watching all this stuff. And because your website's a living, breathing thing, you track results on a regular basis and you monitor ROI. Those are the 4 steps.
So most people that can go and get, Website Marketing for Dummies or any of those books, you go to your local bookstore, or for those that are shopping online now, which are most people, going to Amazon or whatever bookseller of choice online to get a book. Most of them are laid out and says, here's information, here's great information. The challenge with most of the books that I find personally with myself is there's no roadmap, there's no implementation. Like, here's the steps on how to do it. How does Winning the Website War address that?
Well, it's a great question. And one of the things I wanted to do is write a book that would stay relevant for a long time. Because another issue with most web marketing books and website books is that they get old. I mean, just in a year or two, some of the concepts that they talk about are not even used anymore. For example, if you were to pick up a website marketing book from just a couple years ago, they would probably say in that book to have a mobile designed website and have a website that's designed for computers, for regular computers, regular screens. Right. Well, now that's completely changed. Responsive design websites adapt to whatever screen size you're looking at. So that information is no longer relevant. And what I try to do is focus on what is always relevant to website marketing, and that is strategy. That's why step 1 is strategy. It's the idea of understanding why you're even on the web, what you're trying to accomplish with your website, and how to use content to move people toward action to meet your goals. Those things are fundamental. They'll never change. And then the idea around what kind of design do we need? How should the site be used? What kind of e-commerce do we want? All of that has to follow a strategic focus. And so, number 1, the book starts with strategy. And I think most business leaders, once they get their hands around the strategy for their website, then the other steps are a lot easier. And like I said, those are timeless. So that's one very unique advantage of this book.
So who's the book for? Is it for designers or is it for business leaders? Who is it aimed for?
Well, it's a good question, because when I say the term business leader, you might be thinking, oh, it's just a CEO. But I define a business leader as anyone who is running or managing either their own business or a department within a company or a company they've been hired to manage. These are folks that are responsible for running a company. And as part of running that company, they have to do marketing, they have to do sales. And as part of doing marketing and sales, they have to do web marketing. Right. And it could be a company of one. It could be a realtor or an accountant or an attorney. Or it could be a company with 100 employees, and the CEO takes an active role in marketing and sales and is overseeing the website, which is very, very common. And so, when I was looking at the competition out there, I didn't see a lot of web marketing books for the business leader. And that's where this book comes in. And in fact, you mentioned designers. Most of the web marketing books that are out there are written for professional web marketers, which happen to be designers and developers. But my thought is that designers and developers really need to take direction from the business leader. And that's why step one is strategy, and it's defined in the book. And then step two is design and development, because design and development shouldn't happen until strategic direction is set by the business leader. And in many times, what we've seen over the years is the problems we see in websites stem from not having a clear strategy, moving to design and development before a strategy is set, and then looking to a designer or developer to provide strategic direction for the marketing of your business on the web. It doesn't work that way. Designers and developers are going to provide the direction that they know best, that they probably use for all their other clients as well, as opposed to the direction that applies best to your business.
Now you
kind
have
of a complicated answer.
Well, you have in step 1 in chapter 7. It's titled "What Business Leaders Must Know About Web Marketing." Can you give us kind of a little a quick summary of what that is? Because obviously it's a really good thing. It's the first thing that caught my eye. Is like, okay, great. What do I need to know about web marketing?
It's a great question, because one of the things I've realized in working with business leaders is that not knowing isn't an excuse anymore. Business leaders cannot afford to not know the basics of web marketing. Now, I'm not saying that you have to know HTML or even know how to code a WordPress site or even use WordPress or any other CMS, but you have to understand the basic fundamentals of web marketing. How does Google work? What's important to Google? What are the fundamentals behind AdWords? What are the fundamentals behind Google Plus and other Google apps? What are the fundamentals behind a good content marketing program? You've got to understand these things, just like a CEO should understand the fundamentals of, let's say, marketing in general, or how to build and develop a marketing plan, or how to hire good salespeople and have a winning sales team and an excellent sales manager. You don't have to go out and do the sales, but you need to understand the concepts behind it. It's the same thing on the web. And so my thought is that if you want to set a strategy and build a team, it starts with understanding the fundamentals of web marketing. And that's what a business leader should know. I also have a chapter on what the business leader should know about Google, because Google is huge in web marketing. I mean, it's probably the most important website or company in the field of web marketing, period.
And it keeps changing.
And it changes. And we find out every time we do a Google Plus Hangouts, like we're doing right now, we see all the changes that Google puts in. And they've just recently, again, changed their Google Analytics. So anyway, the point here is that it's no longer an excuse to say, well, that's technology. It's over my head. I'm not going to worry about it. Wrong approach, because I'll tell you right now, for the business leader that does not worry about this stuff or think about it or feel like they should know about it, there's a competitor that is on top of it and does understand the basics and is driving and leading a team to get results. And those folks will outperform you on the web and in marketing in general.
What does the book say about, when we talk about website design and development and going on that end, what does it say for the two different spheres of folks? For the web developers that are saying, hey, I'm looking for some more information and how can I do this better? And then for the business leader who says, I need to understand how to hire a team or manage a team under me, a development team. What type of information is under that do you have in the book?
Well, the book lays out a very clear outline for the different types of roles that need to come to the table to build a website. Even if it's just a company of one, you need to understand the different roles that you're building. And we've talked about that in other podcasts, how you build a web marketing team. The book is also effective, though, for members of that team, people that actually are doing the work of development or design. And I think what the book will show them is that there's so much of a bigger world to what they're doing. It's so easy for a designer to get caught in I want this layout to look good. I want the colors to look good. I want the design to fit well in the template. I want it to be responsive. I want the code to work well. Or even an SEO professional, I want everything set up properly, title tags, H1 tags. I want this coded right. That's all great, but you've got to understand the bigger picture and the strategy for the site itself. And I think this book, for the developer, the designer, the SEO consultant, reading this book, it'll give them a sense of the bigger picture, and it'll give them a sense of saying to their client or their boss or their manager, you got to get involved too. Because if we just do this on our own, we may be missing the boat on what the strategy is for your company, the real strategy. One of the ways we see that on websites is if you've ever gone to a site and you've wondered, what do these people do? And if I can figure out what they do, why should I pick them? And why are they better than someone else? Well, that's strategy. And chances are the key business owner or leader was not involved at the level that they should have been when that site was developed. And that's why there's that disconnect. So the book has a lot of markets, but it really is for the business leader. That's where it starts.
Well, there's obviously two different camps. There's people who have brick and mortar stores, if we're talking about retail, and then they have an e-commerce segment to that, and then you have service-based businesses. Well, a lot of the businesses, let's face it, we're using the web to drive traffic to either our brick and mortar stores or to hire us as service professionals. So when we're dealing with that, what do you talk about? I mean, your background obviously is in sales and in marketing as well, because you had a previous book as well that you had on sales. If you want to plug that really quick.
Intuitive selling, right?
Intuitive selling.
It's still out there. That's right. Yeah.
So,
intuitiveselling.com.
So coming from that, we're looking at that from that standpoint. What does the book talk about as far as what you need to do offline to either drive traffic online or bring more business online?
Well, I think the book is very clear that the whole world of offline and online is really blurred now. I mean, what does offline really mean? We're online all the time. You have your phone with you now. Your iPhone 6 with the huge screen, right? So you're always available to grab information from your phone. So it's very blurred between the worlds of offline and online. I will say that the book does talk about your brand and your company brand and how that is going to be one of your most popular selling or marketing points. In fact, we still see this with clients that brand name searches are still some of the most common searches we see in SEO, people looking for your company name. But right now, it's a big blur between those. I think that what it comes down to is the fact that your website and your web marketing efforts are really the manifestation of your overall marketing plan, and in many ways, your business plan. So if you have this idea of an offline marketing plan, it's going to show up as a website. Your marketing plan will be your website. And especially now with content being so important, the kind of content you have on your website, in so many ways, that is your marketing plan. So there's a big blur between, and in fact, that's why we call the book the subtitle's 4 Steps to Marketing Success, because we really consider that the line is completely blurred now between offline and online. Yeah,
I agree with that. Well, okay, so let's step to the next thing and really look at ROI, because obviously if you're getting business in, you're kind of going, okay, is it working or is it not working? And you've got some definite go-to points in the book about ROI. What types of things do you talk about being able to tweak ROI with analytics?
Well, in fact, I think I call step 4 the most important step, because step 4 in some ways could be step 1. This is the process of watching what your site's doing and understanding how to monitor results so that you can get a sense of, web marketing works for us. It does produce what we want to see it produce. Because if you go through the steps and we talk about step 3 being driving traffic, a lot of people still think that web marketing is SEO and driving traffic. Well, that's part of it. It's one of the 4 steps. But if you don't monitor what that traffic is doing and you don't drive the right kind of traffic, it's not nearly as effective. And in fact, you can lose money, lots of money, in driving the wrong kind of traffic or in spending too much money to drive traffic that doesn't produce a result because you don't have the right strategy or the right website design. So the concept of step 4 and the concept of ROI is, let's put a plan in place that we can actually see the results for, every part of that result. And what I think the most important thing that can happen for a business leader, and this may seem a little strange when you first hear it, but the most important thing a business leader can do with ROI is to set a web marketing meeting and set it on a regular basis and ask the team to bring back data and information that they can start analyzing to look at ROI. And your ROI is going to be based on two factors, either lead generation that will turn into sales or direct e-commerce sales. And most e-commerce websites now are all over ROI. They have to. They wouldn't survive without it. But for lead generation, if you have that web marketing meeting and you have Google Analytics set up and you ask people to bring data to the meeting, then that's the starting process for ROI. And in fact, the book has a couple worksheets that you can make copies of and use in your meetings to track the actual website spend, to website visitors, all the way to conversions, and you can see the ROI process working. And then, of course, the book has all the pointers and tips on how to improve the different steps to improve your ROI.
See, you know what my favorite part of the book is, Tom? My favorite part of the book is the fact that you have implementation into the book. There's so many times you get a book, you open up the book and you say, okay, this is great, all these wonderful ideas and things to do, but there's no roadmap to get from here to here. It's all great ideas, but you go, look, my business is different than that of Amazon. Okay, we got a different business model. It's a great idea, but I can't do it in my business. You actually have implementation process and action plans in the book. And
every chapter has an action plan. It's definitely key to what we're doing. And some of the action steps are repeated in the chapters, but that's okay because they need to get done. And then we also have 7 case studies sprinkled out through the book so you can see how different industries have seen results following these 4 steps. So yeah, highly recommend the book. Obviously, it's been in the progress of being written probably for 10 years. In fact, the podcasts we've done, a lot of them are molded into this book as well. But I think it's well worth a read for anyone who has to, lead a web marketing project or put a team together to be successful on the web.
And Tom, where can our viewers and listeners purchase Winning the Website War: 4 Steps to Marketing Success?
Well, it's available on Amazon. It's available on iBooks and iTunes. It's available on Barnes and Noble. It's a print on demand, and it's also available in ebook format as well. And I highly recommend that you go out and get a copy.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for joining us. And folks, be sure to go out and get your own copy of Winning the Website War: 4 Steps to Marketing Success. And we'll see you at the next podcast. Thanks so much for joining us.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com. If you have a website you would like us to review or an issue you would like to see covered in future podcasts, email us at info@intuitivewebsites.com.